Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about the Gossip Girl reboot. Two disclaimers before we begin. I have not seen Gossip Girl the original. I've gotten as far as episode 2 of the first season and I just can't do it. I always stop at like the second or the third episode. Maybe one day I'll get through it. Maybe this will push me to watch the full series, but up until then I don't know. So the fact that I haven't seen the original can be either a good or a bad thing, because most of the critique or most of the people that I see talking about the show on my timeline compare it to the original, and it'll be good in the sense that I don't have a litmus test to hold it to. This is just what I think about the material and that's it. And bad in the sense that I feel like in the first episode there were references to the original Gossip Girl and I did not get what they were saying at all, so that might be a problem. Maybe I didn't pick up on things that other people picked up on. And number two, if you've ever seen one of my videos where I talk about TV shows, so I think I've done 3 so far. I've done Teen Wolf, I've done Pretty Little Liars, and I have done Twilight, where I spoke about the entire series, and I usually talk about themes and different threads throughout the show. But there are only 6 episodes of Gossip Girl right now, so what I'm going to do is that for this video, I'm mostly going to be talking about the characters and what I think about the characters, and some of the writing that I think was just not good in terms of the show and in terms of characterization. And in the end, I'll just give like a wrap up and where I think the next part of the show should go, because there are 6 episodes for this season, I guess, but it's not the end of season 1, so it'll be back for part 2. It's the end of part 1 for this season, but in the fall, I believe it's when it's returning for part 2. So we are going to talk about the characters, and the first 2 characters that I want to get into are Monet and Luna. Just mean girls, just to be mean girls. Here's the thing. The last video I posted was my Euphoria video, and I stated how people project all of these mean qualities onto Maddie Perez. But if you're looking for mean girls, Monet and Luna are they're the answers to your prayers, because they're just cruel just to be cruel. I don't even know why they hated Zoya that much. And the thing is, they're supposed to be Julian's PR. Luna is her stylist and Monet is her PR. If one person coming to the school can take down everything that you've built just like that, then you need to work harder, I'm afraid. I don't know why they were so threatened by Zoya, because she didn't even want to be in the Instagram influencer game like that. She just wanted to come to school because Julian kind of persuaded her. Like, they made this whole plan. They made the plan together, but based on their personality types, I feel like Julian is the one who kind of persuaded her to come to school there, because Julian got her the scholarship in the first place. So there's that. Zoya doesn't even want to be caught up in the things that you guys are caught up in anyways. There's been a fly in this room for the past like 3 days and it's annoying me. But we get into this whole like, are we 5? Are we 10 years old? I know that they're teenagers, but trending Zugly on Twitter. Really, Luna, is that what we're doing? I feel like you're old enough, because I feel like Julian is about like 17, 16. At 17, 16, you like, those are childish games. If you really want to do something better. We'll talk about the fashion show, we'll talk about all of that later when we get to Julian. But what are we doing? You get a video of somebody being bullied and you call that the director's cut, and this is where I have to question the writers, kind of, because that video, had Julian not gotten up on the stage and gave that corny ass speech that she gave when she asked everybody to take out their cameras and record her, had she not given that speech, that would have ruined her. And Monet and Luna are smarter than that. They're one-liners, they're very quippy, very sarcastic. They're smarter than that. So I find it hard to believe that they would have this video and want to show it and not realize, because the entire point of this thing, of their elaborate scheme, was to keep Julian at the top so they could be at the top with her. So I don't know where this whole video shit came into play. I don't know who thought that would be a good idea, because their characters, they wouldn't do that because they're smart. So that's number one. Number two, I am disappointed in the fact that we don't know anything about them. We know nothing about these two girls. We don't know about their family lives. There was this one episode where Monet mentioned that her mom is in biotech and she doesn't want to end up like her mother. Is there tension there? I feel like we've gotten glimpses of everybody's backstory except for Monet and Luna, which is a shame because they're interesting characters, but you don't give us a chance to actually look at them for their entirety. Through the entire season, they're just following behind Julian, and then when Monet switched teams, when she said, we're not doing that because she felt like Julian was taking her down, when Monet switched teams, she was completely left out of the last episode of the final part of the season. So, and that's not even a surprise because without Julian, she didn't really have a plot line. So why include them? Why do that in the first place? There could have been more, and for season 2 or part 2, I want to see more of Luna and I want to see more of Monet. I want to see more of their stories because they're fabulous. They're mean girls, yes. They are the mean girls that you all have been asking for, but I feel like there's a bit more substance. And I'm not saying that people can't be mean just to be mean, but at the end of the day, we're getting everybody's backstory, even if it's not a deep story about them. If just to say, hey, this is their life and this is their life and that's all we see, fine. But I feel like we could get a little bit more depth when it comes to those two. Next character, Aubrey. I like Aubrey. I really, really do. Here's the thing. I think Aubrey would be fun if she's not going through it all of the time. And I guess that's the point of the show, to incite drama and to show the most dramatic parts of their lives. I would be friends with Aubrey in real life. She's kind of high strung, but then you also know why, because she's also dealing with issues with her mom. Her mom's an alcoholic. Her mom's going through it. And she has Aki, and Aki's trying to tell her, hey, like, your mom is having a rough time. But at the same time, if you're having all of these feelings, you kind of want your boyfriend to support you in those feelings, even though Aki was right, because we'll get to Aki in a minute. But I do like Aubrey. She did cheat with Max, but then again, Aki did so at the same time. And I also liked how she supported him on his journey to figuring out like what his sexuality was, and she was saying that he doesn't have to label it if he doesn't want to. So I appreciated that very, very much. She also indirectly kind of outed him to his father and his mother. And while I realize I realized that was wrong, but that also wasn't her intent. She shouldn't have said it in the first place. She shouldn't have. But her mom was in the hospital. She was at a dinner that she didn't want to be at. She was getting calls from the hospital. She felt bad about it. But at the same time, because there were like 2 times when she was getting into the limo and when she was talking to Aki on the phone and she didn't tell him, hey, I told your parent. She said, I told your parents something, but she didn't tell him that she told them that, or that she implied they figured out what she was talking about with regards to his sexuality. So there's that. She should have told him. But overall, I like Audrey. This throuple that's going to happen in season 2 between Audrey, Max, and Aki, I know that it's going to be a train wreck. There's this fucking fly. I know that it's going to be a train wreck, but I want to see it as long as Aki does not get hurt. But I like Audrey. It took a while. It took for the first 5 episodes, I was like, why is she here? But she had other things going on, and that last episode where she really came into herself and she was worrying about her mom and she actually gave human emotions and she was actually feeling things, I like Audrey. Audrey's cool in my book. Next character, Max. I love Max. If I had a character ranking, Max would be number 2 because there's one other person that I love more than him. But I feel like in terms of completeness, in terms of character arcs, Max was the best written character, and the actor, I don't know his name, forgive me. The actor was acting his ass off. The actor carried this season, because if you think about it, he's had a full transformation from the beginning. He was just fucking anybody with 2 legs, and then he had sex with Aubrey and he was kissing Aki, and then there's the thing with his teacher. That man belongs in hell. And then the thing with his fathers, and all of that coming full circle towards where the end he said he had a conversation with his dad. So I like that. I like Max. And in the end, like when he broke down and he was just like, both of you have had sex with me, I said, well, this is what you get. Max cares about everybody, but nobody cares about Max. When he was missing, when everybody knew that Max was missing, Aki and Aubrey were the only 2 that actually cared to like look for him. Aubrey did it for a little bit, but then Aki was like actually trying to find out where he was, and Aki was actually went to that predator, that old man, that teacher. Aki actually tried to confront him. I don't know why they would have Aki do that in the first place, but I don't know. I have a very, very soft spot for Max. The throuple situation, I can already tell where that is going to go. Next we have Julian, and here's the thing about Julian. A lot of people are mad that she's not the quote-unquote mean girl. The writers didn't write her that way. She's supposed to come across as nice, or her character development, there's supposed to be some form of character development when it comes to her, but I find that hard to believe. Like, I find it hard to believe that Julian is just the oh woe is me character, and Monet and Luna are behind her pulling the strings. Yes, they are in charge of the operation, because when she wanted to get those sponsors to show her dad that she probably wants to be an influencer and about her going to college, when she wanted to get those sponsors, she called Luna on the phone and she said, Luna, I need these spot, like what are we gonna do? I want to know how Luna knows these people. I want to know how Luna gets these connections, probably through her parents, but that is something that I would want to know. But Julian throws stones a lot of the time and hides her hands, because I find it hard to believe that Monet and Luna are the ones in charge when they go when Julian says go. So for example, the fashion show, they had this whole other convoluted plan, and as soon as, I guess it was supposed to show that Luna and Monet got in her ear, but we're not gonna act like Julian is this damsel in distress. She gave them the green light, and they ended up sending Max's dick pic from Zoe's phone to everybody else's phone, and then she got thrown out of the party for some reason. The whole party situation, first of all, why would you find that video funny in the first place? Tagging, vandalism, okay. The way that they were hyping up this video made me believe that it was something way worse as to how Zoya got kicked out of her previous school, but it was just her tagging a wall. Okay, and then once again, Luna and Monet watch this video. They see this girl getting bullied. They tell Julian doesn't have the wherewithal to be like, okay, let me see this director's cut that you all are laughing about. And then when it happens on stage, she has to go give a whole 10-minute speech about how bullying is bad, and then she asks everybody to pull out their phone so that they can record her, because had they not been recording her, she would have been canceled. She knew that if she didn't give that whole anti-bullying speech, people would have canceled her because that video wasn't cool. So how am I supposed to believe that Julian isn't calculated? Because she is. She very much so is. And I just don't. The act of having a party on your sister's birthday, your half-sister's birthday, whether you like her or not, in an effort to antagonize her, and then when things don't go your way, you say that this party that you were using to antagonize your sister, you say that it's a charity event for your dead mother, and then when you introduce the video, you say, oh, our mom had a wild side. I'm happy I didn't inherit any of these because she left me when I was a bit. Julian, what am I supposed to believe that Julian is the victim here? I feel like that's what they want me to believe, I think, but I don't know. And towards the end, when she kissed Obi, I was just like, okay, you don't care. You don't care about this relationship with your sister. You just want to do what you want to do, and that is going to be Julian's way or no way. And get it how you live it, I guess. The next character that we're going to talk about is Zoya. I don't have any negative feelings towards Zoya. I do think that she's a bit annoying, but then I have to remember that she's 14 years old, and 14-year-olds are annoying to any 14-year-olds watching this right now. I'm sorry, and if you're not annoying, don't take offense, but 14-year-olds are annoying. I was 14 once. I was annoying. I'm speaking from experiences. And side note, a lot of people were taken aback that the characters are supposed to be young. I'm like, they're in high school. She's a freshman. They've said it multiple times that she's a freshman. How old do you think that they are? And there was this really weird conversation brought up about how, oh, they're not kids. Like, they have all of these older people playing 16-year-olds. Where have you been for the past, like, how long have we had teen dramas on air? Like, everybody's old. Get over it. But I understand Zoya. She's not my favorite character, but I understand the way that why she acts the way that she acts. She's at a new school. She can't afford to do most of the things that the other kids are doing, and it makes sense that she acts the way that she acts. So I don't have anything negative and or positive to say about her. I think she's one of the least interesting characters in my opinion, but we move. She's 14, she's coming into her own, she's trying to speak her mind. I can't fault her for any of that. But what I can fault her for, see, I'm not even gonna fault her. I just want her to drop Obi's annoying ass, and she did it at the very end of episode 5 and at the end of episode 6. She did it, but then Julian had to go pick his annoying ass right back up. I don't know what they see in this man. This man is a terrible man. He is dating his ex-girlfriend's little sister, and at that point, I just have to blame the writers, because I can see it as a plot device to drive conflict between Zoya and Julian, but at the same time, we didn't need to do this. That's where your creativity comes in, because I don't like seeing Obi and Zoya together. That's gross to me. He didn't care about her feelings. She was telling him, hey, I'm getting bullied. Like, these people are trying to, like, ruin my life, because at one point, that's what Monet and Luna were trying to do, and Julian was just there letting it happen. She's like, these people are trying to ruin my life, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I wanted to throw up in my mouth. Obi, why is it that your current girlfriend, who happens to be the younger sister of your ex-girlfriend, had to be the one to tell you, hey, maybe you should apologize for how your relationship went down, because it takes two in every party. There are certain things that you have done. It isn't fair that you keep blaming her for everything. Why did that have to happen, Obi? Tell me why you have all of this mouth in front of other people about your political activism or the things that you believe in, and when it's time to take it to the table, when it's time to take it to your household, in front of your mother, in front of her friends, your mom, you have to look at Zoya and be like, we're at dinner, now is not the time. When is the time, Obi? It's just Zoya was saying she doesn't feel like Obi believes in the things that he says. He just says things because he thinks it's what he's supposed to be saying. That is the entire point of the situation. When Zoya was grilling this old white man, Aki's father, as she should have, and Obi comes out of nowhere, it's dinner, like, stop it, don't say those things, my mother. I'm like, your mother what? Like, what are you talking about? What is going on here? You have all of this mouth. And see, I can't even be mad, because this is a realistic portrayal of rich white people and how they deal with problems, and how it's just a performance. It's a performance online, it's a performance in front of other people, and when it comes to actually taking things to your household, you don't want to do it. It's a realistic portrayal, but it just made me so mad. I was so mad. Anyways, let's get on to my favorite character of the entire show, Aki. I know a lot of people have a lot to say about Aki, but that's my baby, and I do not want him to get hurt. I see a lot of myself in Aki when it comes to him being quiet, when it comes to him being the peacemaker. And I love that we got to see a bit of his backstory in the last episode. We find out that his father is a homophobic piece of shit. And when I tell you, when they were at the protests and they were questioning his father about his like homophobic policies at his company or whatever, and his father said, I can't be homophobic because my son is gay. When I tell you, my jaw dropped to the floor. That was the emotional impact that had on me. That was a good scene. I'll give them that. That was really, really good. My jaw dropped and I could just see on Aki's face, that was Evan Mock's best performance of the entire show. We're not gonna get on Evan Mock's acting because that is a choice, but when he spoke into the mic and then he said, I'm not gay, I'm bisexual, and he couldn't even finish it because he just looked so unsure of what to do in that moment because he hasn't even come to terms with his sexuality yet. And for his father to do that to him, that man is going to burn in the fiery pits of hell. That I assure you. But I love Aki. I love his character. He's always just trying to help somebody. He was out here trying to help Max when that wasn't his job, but he cared about his friends, so he wanted to help Max. He was helping Aubrey with her mom. Max is just not Max. Aki is just amazing. He's an amazing character. He's an amazing guy, and I can't wait. As I said before with the whole throuple situation, somebody's gonna get hurt, but it better not be Aki because then we'll have more problems than we already have with this goddamn show. The next group of people who are going to get it from me are the teachers. And I have one question for the writing staff at HBO. Who decided that the teachers were going to be Gossip Girl? Because that is the overarching plot of the entire first part of the season. I don't know if the teachers are going to continue to be Gossip Girl, but spoiler, Rafa deleted the account, so I don't think so. Gossip Girl might pop up in a different iteration. But I was just so confused because it doesn't make any sense. Who made that executive decision? Why are the teachers Gossip Girl? Do you not have papers to grade? Do you not have parent-teacher conferences to attend? They have parent-teacher conferences, but Kate is busy texting on her phone in front of parents. In front of parents. And it would have been one thing if they showed us exactly what the students have been doing to terrorize the teachers, okay? That could have been one thing. It still would have been corny because Jason, that teacher, was out there taking pictures of children undressing, but we're not going to discuss that because that would be a whole, like, he was taking pictures of them and he came back and said, I feel so disgusting, and then we just glossed over that entire thing. Jason is going to hell. Kate is going to hell as well, because it would have been one thing for you to show us the students terrorizing the teachers, the students having a bad attitude, but it was only one scene in the beginning where they told us that a student got a teacher fired, okay, and then Kate was mad because they didn't like her stupid little blazer. So where do we go from here? Even after the whole Gossip Girl thing was happening, the only thing we heard from the teachers was that, oh, they pay attention better in class now. You're out here bullying 15 and 14-year-olds, people who are born in 2005. You're out here bullying them so that they can pay better attention in class. I'm going to need, teaching is not the profession for you. I'm going to need you to find a new job. But Kate, as she was saying in the last episode, is a failure. She can't do anything. So that's why she has to terrorize children online. Not to mention, they targeted the only brown teacher who was working at the school. Well, not the only brown teacher who was working at the school, but why did they have to target the brown teacher? Why did she have to be the one to get fired? And Zoya, why are we targeting Zoya? Zoya hasn't done anything to anybody. And I understand it in terms of, okay, she's attached to Julian and you can get to Julian through Zoya, but that is such a convoluted, stupid plan, writers. Come up with something better. Why are we targeting Zoya? Zoya hasn't done anything. Zoya can barely afford to go to the school. Zoya's about to get kicked out of her home. There was this whole rent plot thing that I don't think, because they're living at her grandmother's apartment, there's that whole thing, but nothing ever came of it. I think they forgot about it from last episode, but they were also dealing with this building developer thing this last episode 6. So what are we doing? Because I don't like this at all. We're cyberbullying 15-year-olds. That's what these teachers are doing in their spare time. And now we get to the biggest problem of all. Kate and Jordan, all of them, the Agatha looking lady, all of them are angels compared to that wicked demon Rafa, who belongs 6 feet under. Let me tell you something. The day when we can have an appropriate student-teacher relationship, one of trust, one of mentorship, is the day that I will finally know peace. Because what the hell is going on? Why can't I get a show with a student-teacher relationship and have it be a normal mentorship kind of relationship? Why are they always in some kind of predatory relationship? At least this one, they showed us that Rafa was a creep, while on Pretty Little Liars, spoiler alert if you haven't read the Pretty Little Liars books, but cover your ears. Ezra dies in like book 1 or 2, and I was waiting for the show to kill him, but they had him there till episode 7, and it had me highly, every time he and Arya would pop up on the screen, I would be disgusted. But I also have a Pretty Little Liars video, so you can check that out if you want to. But it was just so terrible. At least they show us how evil Rafa is as a man, how do you are fucking your students, you are fucking your senior students every year. This is something that you frequently do. When Max tells you that he wants nothing more to do with you, you start messaging him to the point where he has to block you, to the point where you go to Gossip Girl and then you release something about he's 18, but he's still a kid. You release the sexual history, you make up lies about the sexual history of a child, just deranged behavior. And then after that, you meet up with one of his fathers, and his dad, I don't know, I don't remember their father's names, but the dad that Max met up with, his dad was a little bit too nonchalant for me, because you just found out, you just found out that your son, that teacher had sex with your son, and you're not gonna give him a black eye, you're not gonna punch him in the face. What is going on? Rafa took advantage of Max when his family was in turmoil, his family was imploding right before his eyes, and Max was high on every pill known to man. And then Kate's stupid ass gives Rafa access to the account, and then Max sends a video of them having sex to Gossip Girl, and now Rafa has closed down the account, and a whole bunch of stupid things. Like, who has come up with this shit? Like, why? There are so many different routes that you could have taken with this show if you wanted to, because Euphoria, as I discussed in my last video, Euphoria is a show on HBO Max, and you could have done the episode per person and then linked them up at the end if that's something that you wanted to do. You could have had added so much more depth to some of the characters, because Julian and Zoey are supposed to be the 2 main characters, and to me they're the least interesting ones. Max's situation is interesting. Aki is interesting as a character. Aubrey is interesting as a character. And the throuple, I know I've mentioned the throuple about 3 or 4 times in this video, but I'm looking to see what's gonna happen with that throuple, because they're interesting. They're interesting separately, and then when they come together, they're even more interesting. I just don't know. I don't know. My last point is, are these people actually friends? Because I think that they want me to think that they are friends, or the writers want me to think that they're friends, but the only time where I see them actually interact with each other all in a positive way is when Audrey's mom ends up in the hospital. And even then, they're only there for a limited amount of time, and after that it's just Max and Aki that are in constant communication with her and talking to her about her mother. So that's one. Max and Julian are friends. You could say that. Obi is only connected to the group because he was with Julian and now he's with Zoya, but he doesn't even talk to anybody else. Zoya and Julian have their whole frenemies sister thing going on, so we have that. Luna and Monet are in a business relationship with Julian. They're not actually friends. Obi and Aki are sort of kind of friends because Obi gives him advice sometimes. We see those little interactions. And then Aki's parents is friends with Obi's mom, and they have that whole dinner they have that whole business dinner. I said dinner. Oh wow, that's how you know I'm tired. But I don't know, it doesn't even feel like they're frenemies either. I feel like we could have had a little bit more positive interactions between all of them if we were to believe that they were friends, because every time they were all in the same room with each other, except for that one time when they were all hugging at the hospital due to Aubrey's mom, everybody was at each other's throats. There was a lot of conflict, there was a lot of tension, and of course you need that to keep the story going. But at the same time, if that's all that you have, the show also had a pacing issue. It's all just very, very, very weird. In terms of the pacing, why did we have to wait till like episode 6 to get a glimpse into Aki's life? I thought that was weird, and we still haven't even gotten a glimpse into Luna and Monet's life. All of it is just strange. It's strange. But will I be watching part 2? Yes. Usually, like, no matter what show I watch, I always say yes, you should watch it. But for this one, I don't know. Like, in terms of cultural moments, I know that it was the highest rated show on HBO Max when it came out. Is it on HBO Max or HBO? One of the. It was the highest rated show, and I understand wanting to be a part of a pop culture moment and being able to say, "Oh, I watched the Gossip Girl reboot." But in terms of like substance, I don't know. Will I be watching part 2? Yes. Because I need to see what happens. I've already invested my time into part 1. But if you were on the fence about watching this show, I don't know. You know what? Watch it. Watch it if you want to, and then come up with your own conclusions. But it was just weird. It was all just very, very strange. And yeah, that's that is it. That is all that I have for you for today's video. My next video, I'm going to be ranking one of my top 3 albums of all time. I'm going to be talking about that album, so stay tuned if you want to hear what that is. My Twitter will be in the description box if you want to follow me there. I will also have my Medium link in the description box as well. I will probably be posting something that I wrote next week, so if you care, you can always check there if you want to. Like the video if you want to, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.